Shots of Brown, shots of Brown, black, black. Show 'em on the track, show 'em on the track. Take a shot, take a shot, take a shot. Shots of Brown. You can take it straight or on the rock. Shots of Brown. On this platform, it goes down. Shots of Brown. They know it ain't no cap on Shots of Brown. Take a shot.
Welcome back to Shots of Brown, baby. If you're new here, you know what to do here. As I look in the analytics, a lot of y'all be watching the content but not hitting that subscribe button. That subscribe button is free for you to hit. So if you're enjoying the content, man, and you want me to keep this thing going, man, show support by hitting that subscribe button, comment, hit that notification bell so as soon as I drop, you'll be the first one to get the video and all that good stuff, right? But I do appreciate everybody for the support, everybody who tunes in, comments, joins the conversation. I love and appreciate y'all. Special shout out to all my day ones, because I see all y'all, majority of y'all, are still rocking with me. And I love and appreciate you for that. But listen though, this one here is about Pat Houston. Pat Houston and how she exploited Bobbi Kris after the passing of Auntie Whitney Houston. For those that's new here, if you don't know, I am Shayne Brown, the nephew of Bobbi Brown and Whitney Houston. First cousin of Bobbi Kristina. So today I'm gonna talk about how and why Pat exploited Chrissy after the death of Auntie Whitney, right? So listen here and peep gang. Auntie Whitney passes. 8 months later, there's a whole show, reality show, on television showing the Houstons. But of course, nobody watched the Houston reality show. Let's just be real. Nobody watched the Houston reality show for no other Houston. Although she's not a Houston, she's a Brown. But no one watched that show for no other Houston but Bobbi Kristina. Pat, and secondly, Sissy Houston. Pat, no one watched that show for you. No one watched that show for Gary. No one watched that show for your daughter. No one watched that show for no other reason other than Bobbi Kristina Brown. Let's get that understood. Okay, so here you go. A young lady who was brought up in the public eye her whole life. Since a child, Bobbi Kristina has been under the microscope due to her family, who her parents are. Bobbi Brown and Whitney Houston. So she's always been under that microscope her whole life. Her mother passes. The one time where, if you truly loved Chrissy for real, that was the one time that Chrissy should have been out of the public eye. Chrissy should have been not in the public eye because she was going through a lot. Chrissy should have been rehabilitating, getting herself together out of the public eye, because Chrissy was dealing with a lot of things herself as a young lady. Know what I'm saying? It's already out there as far as things that she was going through with addiction-wise, and just mentally, she's going through a lot. Her mother was all she knew. Her father is all she knew. Her father was no longer in her life at this point. Her mother and her was like this. The one time that you were able to give Chrissy, I apologize, y'all. I hate when people call my phone and I'm recording. But the one time that you're able to give Chrissy space from the world, you shove a camera down her face. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I lost my father. My mother is still living. And I lost my father, God rest his soul. I couldn't imagine someone trying to record me and put me on national television during that. Everybody, I'm pretty sure there's people who on here that's watching who has lost their mother or father. That's not what you want, man. You need time to get yourself back together. Know what I'm saying? So, it's just crazy. But all this was a plot because all this was planned. We get Whitney out of here, then we have to get Chrissy out of here because everything goes to Chrissy. So this here was a plot and a plan to, furthermore, exploit Chrissy. I want to furthermore say this as well. With the show, Pat had the power to show Chrissy in a good light. Pat had control of the edits to where she could have went in. Nah, I don't like that. No, we don't want to show Chrissy in that light. Delete that clip. No, that's good. Chrissy is looking, that's good. That's a good look for her. She could have dictated all that. But she wanted it to be packaged the way it was and sold to y'all the way it was because she wanted to show the world that Chrissy was out of it. She wanted to exploit Chrissy's drinking problem, her drug addiction, what she was going through mentally. She wanted to exploit all that because you know why? That is how Pat was able to go to the courthouse, take control of the money, and then put Chrissy on a monthly allowance. You understand? So all this is Houston reality show, all this shit was planned. All this shit was planned. They knew when they took Auntie Whitney out that they had all this planned. Know what I'm saying? Pat is the devil herself. Okay? Pat is a manipulator. Pat is very greedy. Pat is a snake, amongst a whole lot of other things. And along with Gary. Gary's no better. This is Auntie Whitney's blood brother who was in on all this, who knew about all this. He knew. And he had his hands in it as well because he's a greedy crackhead his goddamn self. You understand? He's a greedy dope fiend his damn self who was jealous of Auntie Whitney from the beginning his damn self. But I love this interview, man, with Barbara Walters, and I just want to play it.
It's the title of a new reality show that captures the different ways Whitney Houston's family is dealing with the tragic death, which was only 8 months ago. And on the premiere episode, because you got to have tension in a reality show, Whitney's daughter and the young man that some call Whitney's adopted son.
Let me skip past this a little bit because at first they're going to talk about this Nick and all this.
I tell you, reality shows have to have some tension. We're going to get to that right now. Please welcome Whitney's sister-in-law and manager, Pat. It's nice to see you again.
I hope y'all can hear this, though. I just want y'all to pay it. Hold on. She chewed Pat's ass up in this interview. I want you to pay attention to Pat.
Child is not Bobbi Kristina, but a cousin, right? Your daughter. Yes. Lovely. Okay, so let's get to it right away because the young man whom some say Whitney adopted, but she really didn't adopt him, but he's been with the family since he was, 12?
No, actually, he's been around since he was about 16 and a half, going on 17.
Okay, yes, yeah. So you do not want them to be engaged, and Sissy, you don't want them to be engaged, right?
No.
No. Yeah, that's Grandma, and she knows best. Okay. So what's going to happen?
It's a friendship. They started out as friends.
Are you going to be able to break this up?
I didn't have to. It can kind of, sometimes, they're young. She's 19 years old. He's 23 years old.
Well, it seems like, watching the show, this is the first time I'm seeing Nick. He seems like a nice young man. He seems like, because I know Bobbi Kristina kept referring to both of them as the two musketeers because they live.
She's only 19.
She's not, well, a lot of people get married young, but I'm just saying you and your husband, Gary, you're not happy about that.
No, not at all. How much can you, being engaged at 19 years old, she's still a teen. At 19, she's still a child. It's,
How old is this child?
she's 14.
What do you think about this? Are you for it or against it?
I mean, they're my family, so whatever makes them happy. I'm 14, so I don't really know.
So speak as a 14-year-old.
I want to ask a broader question, though. You began filming the show just 3 months after Whitney's death. And I know it's important.
3 months. Y'all heard that? They started filming 3 months after.
In terms of making some money. But would Bobbi Kristina not have been better off if you didn't do a reality show? If you didn't show her visiting her mother's grave with cameras on her? If you just let her grow up to have a life without the kind of attention that maybe contributed in
Hold up. How the hell my phone? My phone just tripped out. Thought I had a charge. But either or, that interview, feel free to watch that interview. Just type in Pat Houston interview. And that interview with her and damn Barbara Walters is going to come up. But even in that interview, they broke her down all the way. Really chopped into her. Like, why? Why would you put this girl on TV? And even her energy, she got on the defense real quick because she knew that shit was dead wrong. And even when they looked at Sissy and asked her, well, damn, Sissy, how do you feel about it? About cameras following you? She didn't expect Sissy to keep it real. Sissy said, well, I don't agree with it either. I don't like it either. I don't like it either. So I wonder, how did Pat have all this influence over Sissy to get Sissy to agree to do this? Or who?
First time I've seen Nick. He seems like a nice young man. You're not.
How old is this Bobby? No, it's with cameras on her. If you just let her.
Well, the show technically isn't just about Bobbi Kristina. The Houstons consist of her mother, her 2 brothers, and myself, the family. And when we went to New Jersey to the gravesite, it wasn't about just going to the gravesite. We went up for the Gospel Fest.
No, but I'm talking about what Bobbi Kristina, who you care about, and who is in sometimes a little danger, maybe drinks a little too much, you're afraid of. Would she not have been better off if you were not having her in a reality series?
A reality series or not, the child cameras have been following her since she was born. It's not an exploitation of any kind. The family's together. She's not isolated by any means. And it's actually a continuation of a project that we were already working on. The name just changed. And Bobbi Kristina, and I'm not talking about a reality show, the Being Bobbi Brown reality show. I'm talking about a reality show that was filmed 2 years ago called Power Brokers, which consists of 5 women in Atlanta, about their successes in their life. I was one of those women. Bobbi Kristina was on that show, so was my daughter.
Yeah, but this is now the family. This is grandma, this is your daughter, this is the family.
Right.
And it does center a great deal on Bobbi Kristina.
Well, it centers on all of us. You're just catching some segments of Bobbi Kristina.
I saw we were sent the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But Miss Sissy, now that you're so absolutely beautiful, the camera does not do you justice on how beautiful you are, but the cameras are now following you around everywhere, and your private life is now our life. How do you feel about that?
Not very good.
There were times it looked like when I was watching it, I said, I don't know if Miss Sissy is.
See, so even even Sissy knew that this was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Sissy didn't even agree with it. So I want to know, how did Pat evil, you know, evil, man. It seems that Sissy trusted in Pat, and whatever Pat was with, that's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? But y'all see how Chrissy and even Miss Sissy's relationship was when Chrissy passed. God rest Sissy's soul and God rest my cousin's soul. But these people really never really had no real love for Chrissy, man. I'm gonna just be honest, you know. And then Gary's son John, he came out and was speaking on Pat with the Grinch that stole Chrissy and all that there. And they went and put a gag order on him to shut him up. It's just a dirty game, man. It's a dirty game. And I can't wait. I want to bring more attention to this. Open people's eyes. Because a lot of people are confused by the soft, how Pat comes off. All that shit is a fake facade, man. All that shit is a fake facade, man. I see straight through that shit. All that soft-spoken and trying to act like you just, man, listen, man. All that shit is a fake facade, man. You know what you did. You know who was involved. Gary, you's a dirty motherfucker your damn self. All y'all, man. Y'all exploited Chrissy. Got her up out of here because of the money. Bottom line. And it's crazy. And now I look and I see now that Pat is doing all this old crazy ass shit where they auctioning off Auntie Whitney's belongings. Why isn't there a Whitney Houston museum somewhere? This is Whitney Houston we talking about. You hold up, my bad. Auctioning off all her items and belongings. Why isn't there a Whitney Houston museum? Why wasn't the house in Mendham made into a Whitney Houston museum to continue to keep her legacy going? There's so many other things that could have been done. I truly hate the fact that these Houstons have power over Auntie Whitney's estate. Because deep down in my heart, it's just all the wrong things are being done. Everything is being done for a quick buck. And it's not to keep her legacy going. Everything is being done for a quick dollar, man. To keep it going for y'all. Know what I'm saying? And it's just sad, and I know my aunt is turned over in her grave behind the way that you motherfuckers did her when she ain't do nothing but love y'all. Love y'all. Wholeheartedly. From the bottom of her heart. She would have never in a million years thought that y'all would have did half the shit that y'all done pulled, man. And it's just sad, dog. For real. But God rest your soul, Auntie Whitney. God rest your soul, Chrissy. I love and miss you both tremendously. And I hope and pray one day that we get to the bottom of this, and the people who had their hands involved in this, I pray that each and every one of you get your day, man. And I pray that that day comes soon. I pray that I'm alive to see that day, that everybody pays for what they did to my family, dog. I appreciate y'all for listening. Shots of Brown, baby.